And joining us on debate number 2 on the Newshour tonight, Dr Sambit Patra, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Ranjana Kumari, Director, Centre for Social Research, joining us from Delhi, Atul Kumar Anjan, National Secretary of the Communist Party of India, Shobha Oza, Spokesperson and President of the Mahila Morcha Congress. She's been out all day on the streets of Delhi protesting against what's happened in Chhattisgarh. But the first question this evening is to Dr Sanjeev Bagai, Vice Chairman and Director of the Dwarka Manipal Hospital, joining us from Delhi. Good evening, sir. Doctor, the first question to you is, just because it's an award-winning doctor, can he brazenly flout norms? Can he conduct 183 procedures in less than 5 hours and get away with it?
Okay, I'll answer my question purely on medical grounds and not taking any political sides at all. I think first and foremost, whenever any procedure is done, there has to be a simple process of documentation. Now, if there is no documentation, means in the sense, what is the pre-anesthetic drug given, what is the anesthetic drug given, who's the nurse or the attendant in charge, who's the doctor in charge, what are the doses of the drugs and the batch numbers, then there is no point in doing a procedure, however small, minor or major it may be. Point number 2 is, whatever is the type of procedure, I do not understand what is the hurry to do 80 or 90 odd procedures in 3 or 3.5 hours. It literally comes down to about 2.5 minutes per procedure. Now, if you're doing a tubectomy, which is a lady's sterilization procedure, WHO protocols itself takes about 2 to 3 minutes, it states, to clean the abdomen before a scope is put in. It's humanly impossible to do 90 odd procedures with 1 or 2 laparoscopes. What is the level of hygiene? What is the level of post-procedure care? I don't know. My only take on this full thing is, if India is becoming a global health power, if India is becoming a regional hub power, then this is not the way to go about it.
No, and an award-winning doctor who's got more than 1 lakh sterilizations to his name, do you expect him to do something like this? Is this usual?
No, I think it's, I think medically we should not be chasing numbers. This is not a Limca Book of Awards. This is something we are dealing with human lives. This is neither a Guinness Prize in which you come into a book as a page, as a name. I think we are dealing with human souls. We are dealing with people who have entrusted their life to us. Protocols have to be followed. And if any doctor, really, in my own personal take, is if found doing this, I think there should be an inquiry, and whatever law takes its due course, I think it should be followed.
Yes.
It's irrespective of which state it is in.
Of course.
And I think this is a learning lesson for all of us, that this kind of a drive should adhere to simple precautions, simple sterile precautions, simple procedure precautions. We need more number of people as staff to do it. It should not be done in a hurry. There has to be a post-procedure orientation for a patient before the patient is sent home. I think we really need to be careful before we do these mass sterilization camps.
You know, the kind of numbers that have come through from both these horrific cases which have happened are absolutely shocking, and we are going to go across to Dr. Sambit Patra on who does the responsibility lie with. But before that, I'll go to Ranjana Kumari, because, you know, just the numbers, as I said, what Dr. Bagai also talked about here, basic sanitation, basic cleanliness, the numbers. Why was this doctor trying to chase numbers in the first place? Even the government issued guidelines say 30 surgeries, 30 of these tubectomies in one day is the maximum allowed, and that too with 3 separate instruments. What we are being told here is that 83 surgeries conducted in 5 hours by one doctor with 1 set of instruments inside a hospital which apparently does not even function under normal circumstances. What is this? Is this a joke? These are people here. These are human beings. Ranjana Kumari.
Well, Tina, I think this was some kind of, dream he is chasing, where he considers human beings and as some kind of animal who should be butchered, and especially women and poor women, because they don't count. That's what it looks like, because not only
including
the
tribal women who are not allowed to be sterilized.
Explain.
Yeah, and that includes tribal women.
Well,
tribal
yes,
women
and I think the policy itself, Tina, this is time.
Yeah.
Yes, I think the policy itself is faulty. It's always that women's bodies are being used for all kinds of sterilization. They do not. Do you know the difference between 37% women, according to the statistics of a survey, go for these, are being pushed coercively. They are intimidated into these sterilizations. Only 1% men go, which is much more easy, much more safe. And doctors can tell you that, you know, it's much hysterectomy is much more difficult process, and and this kind of using women's bodies, and that is true of the poor women, because there is no accountability. Now it is criminal connivance that they are trying to destroy every evidence. Why did they?
Dr. Sambit Patra,
Some kind of inquiry into the problem. Now look at the way they are trying to destroy the evidence. So
Yes.
what kind of a belief people will have in the system? This is, first, policy is wrong. Second, women are targeted all the time. Why is this policy targeting women? And third, why now they are conniving with the people, all and destroying the evidence, so that there is nothing that comes out of this inquiry.
Dr. Patra, the first response was to, blame the doctor for negligence. The question is, if it's going to be it's a state-run camp. It's run by the state, this camp for sterilization. Both the camps that we're talking about, in fact, one where the women have actually lost their lives, the second one where substandard drugs have led to perhaps 50 or more women being hospitalized. These are state-run camps. At the end of the day, isn't the state responsible for monitoring it, for making sure that the best quality equipment is provided for these surgeries, and also for ensuring that substandard drugs are not being provided? Isn't the state responsible?
Now, I would say that whatever has happened in Bilaspur, whatever has happened in Chhattisgarh, women have lost their lives. It is absolutely condemnable. We have to condemn it. And these issues should be beyond the reach of politics. Rather than politicizing these issues, we should definitely come down very heavily on the people who are responsible for such kind of devastating thing that we have heard.
But is your state health minister not responsible?
No, let me complete it. We have seen as to how the central government has constituted a 5-member inquiry team. The state government also has constituted a 3-member inquiry team. The Prime Minister has himself inquired about the whole thing from the Chief Minister. The whole system is right now moving, and we have heard right now on your channel also as to how the Health Minister has said that there was flaunting of the rules laid down by the state government itself. Who are the ones who are responsible?
Dr. Patra, you know which way it is moving.
This heinous
Dr. Patra, our cameras have caught it. Dr. Sambit Patra,
would be allowed to
know
go off.
No, which way the mechanism is moving. The mechanism is moving towards burning all those banned drugs that were used. There is a cover-up mechanism that is moving. There is no action mechanism. The action mechanism is to try and cover up the entire matter. Not to take action, sir.
Let me answer. I would say I have utmost faith on the investigative procedures adopted by both the central government and the state government. And contrary to saying that it is a cover-up exercise, I would not agree, because you were showing that in a cover-up exercise, you do not litter the whole evidence everywhere.
They were trying to burn it. They were trying to burn it.
Destroy them,
we caught it as it was being burnt off.
But
we caught it as it was being burnt off.
I think investigation...
Banned drugs that are not supposed to be used, those that have way beyond their expiry date, all that was used during those 2-day camps,
I'm not going to defend any kind of indefensible thing, but let me tell you, we have to have faith. We have to have faith in the investigative procedure. Even the Prime Minister has taken a note of this. He has talked to the Chief Minister, and we have seen that the Chief Minister has assured us.
Well,
as long as the Health Minister remains in his position, no inquiry can be fair as long as the Health Minister remains in his position. It will be sham of an inquiry. And I think it will be really wasting time of the experts to go for an inquiry where all the evidence has already been destroyed.
The central government has also started an inquiry committee. So the central government is also looking into it. The state government is also initiating
to make her point and then respond to it. Yes, Shobha Oza.
Yeah, I want Dr. Patra to answer what happened in the incidents that happened where in 2,000 women uterus were removed illegally by the same government camp, and what happened when 75 people lost their eyesight in a cataract removal camp run by the government. The same Chief Minister was there, the same Health Minister was there, nobody was punished. Few doctors were suspended for some time, whose suspension was revoked after a certain period when the entire incident was forgotten by the public. This is the way inquiries are done in Chhattisgarh. This is the way Dr. Raman Singh, I'm ashamed to call him a doctor, when such incidents
Can I come in
happen
now?
again and again in Chhattisgarh?
This is absolutely appalling. When political parties try to play politics on the bodies of innocent women. Is this the way? Shobha Ahuja, you are a woman. You should stop politicizing such medical issues. We should be on common footing together. We should be condemning this. Well, yes, we should be waiting for the inquiry report to come in before we can comment. And
She's raised a fair point.
Anyone who has done any wrong would definitely be punished.
No, please just allow me to add to that question.
The health minister
yes,
was not
she's raised a
operating.
fair point
He
because
tried
it is
to
under the
shield
same
the
regime that we have had
saying that
several
he was not
medical
operating.
disasters before.
Is
She's
this not
pointed those out.
shameful?
She's talked about the
Mr.
time
Sambit
when
Patra,
65 people
don't you
lost
feel
vision in
sorry
their eye
for the
in
state of
government-run
affairs
cataract
in
surgery
Chhattisgarh?
camp.
The
Now,
way the
shouldn't
CM
the health
reacted,
minister
the
at
way
least
the
step
health
down on
minister
moral
reacted,
grounds,
who is
just moral
responsible?
responsibility?
Mr. Sambit Patra,
Why doesn't that happen?
Who is responsible for all these?
If the inquiry finds any flaw with the health minister, then definitely the health minister should also go. But we'll have to wait in a very mature way for the whole of the investigation to be complete in a short span of time. Both the central investigative team and the state investigative team is looking into as to who the culprits are. And definitely no one is going to protect the culprits. No one is going to have a cover-up for the culprits. The culprits will have to go. Heads will have to roll.
Cover-up is already begun, Mr. Patra. Cover-up has already been begun.
And it's been caught on camera. Dr. Patra has been caught on camera.
Cover-ups in our regime.
Just going across, Shobha Ahuja, Dr. Patra coming back to in a bit.
Anyone who has erred
Atul
has
Kumar
to be
Anjan.
punished. I am not going to defend anyone who is indefensible.
Correct, but the fact is those who are investigating are also perpetrators of this of this entire charade. So that is why we are questioning whether or not those people should be moved, because the additional secretary, no, Dr. Patra, no, the additional secretary was supposed to be suspended for his irresponsibility. The director health, he's just been transferred.
Substandard medicines were used by a government hospital.
Who
will reply to this?
This is a serious thing, Anand.
Yes, it is, sir.
Those who are investigating are the ones who are perpetrators of the crime, is pointing fingers towards doctors of AIMS and all.
No, doctors, no, sir.
They are not the ones who are.
No, sir. No, sir.
No, I think, Anand, let me come in for a second.
Yes.
Let me come in for a second. I think the doctors who have been sent by the AIMS are not going to find anything, because the local authorities and the health minister and the people who are locally involved will ensure that everything is destroyed. So nobody is saying that AIMS doctor, what will they find there? If they've already started destroying the evidence, then what kind of inquiry will these doctors who are experts be able to conduct there? They're already saying all the equipment used were not sterile properly. The anesthesis was not there. They're already talking about all kinds of medical negligence. But there will be no evidence.
So everything must have already been seized by the police to say
Ranjana Kumari and
as long as health minister is sitting there, no.
All right, Ranjana Kumari and Sambit Patra, we're going to bring Atul Kumar Anjan into this now. We must allow him to speak now. He's been waiting very patiently. Atul Kumar Anjan, who's responsible? Because the government was the first one to jump up and blame the doctors. Yes, the doctor has certainly botched up. 83 surgeries in 5 hours is ridiculous. But these are government-run camps. Who's responsible?
I have 4 points. At the very outset, the doctor who initiated the discussion and who is well versed of all technicalities, I agree with him what totally he said. Number 2, my friend has raised that let us not make it a political one. A few days back in Bangalore, in a public school, a girl was not done favor, or a girl was not treated well, by a staff member or by a chaprasi. The BJP organized a big demonstration in Bangalore, and the former Chief Minister Yedurappa was leading that one. And I don't find today why the BJP Mahila Morcha people are not there on the streets of Raipur and Chhattisgarh or Bilaspur. What happened to them? And then very fact thing is that it was being given much publicity. The Chhattisgarh government under Dr. Raman Singh has done tremendous job in the field of the medical health and all that. And somebody has correctly said More than 1,000 women's uterus was removed under the same government, under the same Chief Minister, the BJP government. More than 70 people have become blind in the government operation cases, and now once again this one. Now you say basic sanitation was not, and the tuberculomy was what was held, it was not proper, and the government will take, the state government and central government has initiated the inquiry. I think if there is little bit morality, with the track record of the Chhattisgarh BJP government, taking past into consideration and present,
that's what
I think this government should be given, this governor, this Chief Minister should be given Bharat Ratna by Shri Narendra Modi.
Shambit Patra, you know,
by Shri Narendra Modi.
Really, that's what is an inquiry the answer you're going. Shambit, let me just also add to that. Is an inquiry the answer you're going to give to people? Look at the level of horror in this incident, and an inquiry is going to be the answer you're going to give to people.
For excellent duty what they are doing in the field of medical health.
I'm going to come across to Dr. Bagai. I'm going to come across to Dr. Bagai also. You want to make a point, but Shambit, there were two camps, right? There was one in Pendari and then in Pendra. The one in Pendari went wrong. That happened on Saturday. There were women hospitalized and women who were losing their lives after that. The second government camp in the exact same constituency of Bilaspur still went ahead. It happened on Monday. That's 2 days later, after women have already been hospitalized after the first camp, and there was still no supervision to make sure that substandard drugs were not being given to these women. How is it even allowed? How can your state government not take responsibility for it, Shambit Patra?
And Tina, let me remind
definitely, if substandard drugs were used, and if the government was the one which was supplying it, the government will have to take the responsibility. And I should not be over here sitting and defending the indefensible. But remember two things, these all have to come up only after the investigation is complete, and we have to have faith in the central investigating team. And over here, one has to realize,
Samvid.
Just a second,
and the investigation is going to take place while the same health minister continues to retain his position.
That Mr. Raman Singh's government has worked exceptionally well as far as the health system is concerned in the tribal and particularly in the national affected areas. We have to consider all these things. We just cannot talk of accidents. Well, yes, these accidents.
Hold on to that claim, Dr. Patra.
The health sector,
just wait on.
Absolutely dastardly. We have to condemn them.
We'll go across to Dr. Bagai, who's been patiently waiting for a while. Yes, Dr. Bagai.
Its report.
No, Dr. Patra, there is a counter to that claim that you've made, but first, Dr. Bagai, go ahead, sir.
No, it's a very fit case that Dr. Raman
Mr. Ranjan, please wait on. Yes, Dr. Bagai. Yes, Dr. Bagai.
Yeah, one is I would immediately like to focus on the health of the women who've undergone this procedure, who have survived the procedure. Probably they would still be at risk. I'm not sure of the type and the quality of medication, but my main concern is that so many rapid procedures are done in such a quick time. I would rather like to concentrate on the women who've undergone the procedure and survived to make sure that their health is well maintained. That's the first point. They would obviously be at risk of infection or internal bleeding if it is done in a fast and a rapid manner like this, or a risk of infection if the drugs are not correct. Point number two is, I think the national guidelines for doing these screening camps are well versed with everyone. And I think this is a learning lesson for everyone, including the medical professionals, that whenever a procedure is done, documentation, strict protocol adherence is an absolute must. If there is a checklist, we have to go through it. If at any point of time any medical professional or group of doctors feel that these many numbers cannot be accomplished in a given number of time, a period of time, I think it's better to do fewer in a more sterile and aseptic manner, in a proper manner, so that the lives of these young women are saved. The people who undergone this procedure could still be at risk of long-term infertility or pelvic inflammatory disease or internal bleeding, and I think my immediate request for everyone is to concentrate on the ladies who undergone this procedure, so that the ones who have survived this remain well in the long term.
You know, Dr. Bagai, we had some of the locals whose wives and near and dear family are suffering. Just hear this out, Dr. Bagai. One of them says that the entire procedure, and he said this, I'm not quoting reports, he has said this right here on Times Now, that one of the doctor conducted the procedure in less than 5 minutes. Within 15 minutes, my wife was inside and out she was just bundled into an ambulance, and we were asked to she was dropped back from where we came back. Then he says when she started vomiting and when she started bleeding, he tried to call the ambulance. He tried to call 108. Nobody answered. He went to a facility, a local facility. They said, sorry, we cannot do anything about this person because we cannot touch this patient because it's a government procedure. Go to a government hospital. So imagine this is what he was put through. And when he comes back, he comes out and says, even here the facilities are not clean. When the procedure was conducted, we asked him, was she made to lie on the floor? Was the place clean? He said, no, to bahut ganda tha. And there was nobody who was even bothered about it. Now, this is the harsh reality, sir. Yes, this is what an award-winning doctor and a government that claims that it's done yeoman service in health, this is what they're doing.
Yeah, I think what is important to understand is we cannot physically or humanly, it's impossible to do so many procedures in 4 or 5 hours. It's not possible at all. It takes more than 4 to 5 minutes in a sterile manner to clean the abdomen.
I think this...
How can you put in a scope in an unsterile atmosphere in young ladies and put them at risk?
But that's the point, Dr. Bagai, and Ranjana will just come to you. It's obvious to a lay person. It's obvious to all of us here who are not doctors. How is it that this doctor is doing this, and how is the system even allowing it? Sambit Patra will come to you on that, because there are specifics about this, the rules that have been flouted. How is it being allowed? And we'll come to you on that. But Ranjana and Shobha first. Yes, Ranjana.
Well, Tina, I just want to say that this whole targeted sterilization policy is faulty. It is totally wrong. It is depriving women of their right over their own bodies. It is really targeting poor women, vulnerable women. It is every time, it's not, this case has come to light, but I know cases in UP, in Bihar, in all the states where these targets are given to the local administration and the local hospital. And women are brought together in herds without even informing them that they have been taken for this kind of operation.
You talk about targets.
This kind of medical procedure.
Yeah, so these are lives. 200 rupees. For 200 rupees, they are putting lives at risk.
Yes.
For 200 rupees, health workers, Shobha Oza, are putting lives at risk. They are not doing background checks. They are not checking whether the patient is an asthmatic. They are not checking whether the patient is a diabetic. They are not checking whether she's just a mother, has a 2-month-old child.
Yes.
They are not even checking whether this woman is a tribal from a tribe which is actually dwindling. And it's a protected community which is supposed to procreate, not sterilize. That is the true state of affairs there, and you're saying that only one doctor, suspending one doctor, Shobha Oza, is enough. Dr. Patra, you talked about tribals and the welfare of tribals. This is the true harsh reality today, and we have on-camera confirmation of this.
No, Anand, I would say whatever has happened is definitely condemnable. We have to see to it that justice is delivered to the people who have lost their lives.
Who will do it, sir?
In future.
You can't have the health minister who's orchestrated these programs sitting there and delivering justice.
Just reply who's responsible.
Yeah.
Very convenient to condemn it.
Lip service is not going to cut it anymore. It's just not going to, because the point that's been raised here is that it's under the same regime, under the same health minister, that a series of medical botch-ups have happened, and they've been listed out to you right here on the show. Doesn't he have to take that moral responsibility for that? Isn't your party going to give him a directive to step down after yet another medical botch-up has happened under his watch? Is there no accountability whatsoever for your health minister? And certainly to your chief minister also.
The first and foremost, as I maintain, we have to have faith on the investigative procedure. No one is trying to protect the health minister. At least
what happened of the investigations of the cataract surgeries? What happened to the investigations of the uteruses that were removed?
Well, yes. If the investigation
please tell us what happened to those investigations
arising from the ministry, then definitely the minister has to go.
Bring back the dead people.
Right now, I was listening to what the minister was saying. The minister was saying that the procedures are flawed. Somewhere down the line,
what trust are you talking about?
Did not follow the procedure.
Should the people trust that there is going to be again
the whole thing would be clear only after the report is
in
submitted.
Chhattisgarh, and many more people will lose their lives under the same health minister.
See what Atul Kumar Anjan is asking Dr. Patra.
Should the people have that trust?
Atul Kumar Anjan is saying, suspending a doctor, will it bring back those lives? giving, upping the compensation, is that enough for the loss of life?
Definitely not. Definitely suspending.
So somebody has to be made accountable. Eyes that were lost, uteruses that were stolen, lives that have been lost. How many more?
I am really very much worried in this.
Mr. Anjan,
I'm thinking.
Shambhit will allow Atul Kumar Anjan to make his point,
The
please.
Health Minister would not bring back
We'll
the
just
life,
allow
but
him to
then
make his point,
action
please.
have to be taken so that they act as a deterrent for the future. So I believe actions have to be taken. That's what is being done.
Atul Kumar Anjan, adequate actions being taken?
Is the...
I just
Coming to you, Shobha Oza, just wait on.
I want to say one thing. In the past also, this government, Chhattisgarh government, under the leadership of Dr Raman Singh and the health minister, many serious inhuman crimes have been committed.
Yes, they are crimes. They are crimes. Absolutely.
Women, you see, uterus are removed. No, just a minute. We have not made it a national issue. A government is working just to remove the uterus, and we are keeping silent. What sort of the government? What sort of morality you are giving and preaching us? What sort of the committee team? The same people are doing. This has become a habit of the Chhattisgarh government. And I think now
people who are responsible for
Minister Narendra Modi should tell what should be done. There should be somebody to take the moral responsibility. Someone should be identified. Someone should be penalized for this.
Shambhit Patra,
What happened in that?
Shambhit, we are not talking about the policies.
The stringent most punishment.
Shambhit, no. What is that punishment? And to who? Is just suspending the doctors going to be enough? And in this case, the doctor's not been suspended.
Tell me what happened.
Shambhit Patra, we're not talking about policies right now.
Yes.
It's a very simple question. These repeated medical disasters happening under the watch of one man, that one health minister that you have, how can he not be responsible? Just explain to us, how is it that he is not considered responsible by your party? Why has he not been asked to step down? How is it that you're hiding behind the pretext or an excuse of an investigation? We'll worry about the investigation later, Dr. Patra. People have died. How can your health minister not take the fall for it? It's a government camp. It's a government program.
No, definitely. It is the government program, and the ones who are responsible for watching up of this government program will have to come in the public forum, and they have to take a call on it. They have to answer. No one can hide over here. But the question is, who are the ones who are responsible?
When the government camp is held 2 days after women have died, even then your health minister is not responsible.
Investigations have been ordered from the centre as well as from the state. Let us wait as to what the report says.
That explanation doesn't hold water.
Definitely not.
No, doctor. Investigation never shows, investigation in the past has only found scapegoats. They have not, it has not docked those who are responsible to ensure that this program is not misused, it's not abused, and it does not claim lives. Now, it happened under the health minister's watch. Shobha Oza, yes, Shobha Oza.
One question to Sambit.
Frankly,
I want to ask this question to Sambit, that what is the very thing that the Chief Minister is holding on to the Health Minister, and he shamefully comments that the Health Minister was not operating upon, so he should not be removed. What answer is this, Sambit? Where is the moral responsibility of the Health Minister? Where is the moral responsibility of the CM?
It is as simple as let us wait for the report to come, and no one should try to protect the health minister, even I would say. If the health minister has erred in discharging his duty, then definitely we will see to it that even he is punished. But then how do we know? We have to wait for the report to be submitted.
Who will decide that, sir? Who will decide whether the health minister, who will decide whether the health minister is responsible? Who is setting up the probe committee?
Definitely a team has been appointed by the central government. The team comprises of 5 very eminent people. The team has been also appointed by the state government. They will look into this whole issue, and thereafter they would conclude. As to who are the ones who are responsible for it. But by and large, you also know the fact that 4 people have already been suspended. The CMO of Bilaspur has been suspended. The block medical officer has been suspended. The doctor, Mr. Gupta, has been suspended. FIRs have been filed against them. FIRs have been registered against them.
Ranjana Kumari wants to make a point. Yes, Ranjana.
Tina, I just want to establish the link. The target is set by the Health Ministry. The hospital which conducts the procedure is from the Health Ministry. That is under the Health Ministry state. The doctor who performed the surgery is a doctor from the government hospital. The medicine was supplied by the system that is run by the state. So who is responsible ultimately? Isn't it the health minister under which the whole health department functions?
And if the program, not just that, let's add that.
Country believe Mr. Patra.
Yes.
Can I answer?
Yes, and let's add Dr. Patra, who would have taken the credit had this been a successful camp.
Do you think he will allow that? And do you think people will believe in this country that kind of inquiry where, okay, let him step down, let him, every time you all have demanded that, people who are responsible for such incidents and such horrific incidents
let me come in over
step
here.
down for an impartial inquiry. So why is he not been asked to resign? We don't understand that. If you are so much condemning the whole thing, you are so much worried, then why don't you all advise your
Sambit, why can't we have a judicial inquiry into it?
Why isn't there a judicial inquiry into the matter?
Let me remind you of the fact that the health minister himself has stated that the laid down procedures were flaunted somewhere. I mean, the laid down procedures were not
right under his nose, right under his watch.
So what was the health
and not the first time.
Who is the one?
Under his watch, not the first time.
Who broke the procedure?
Under his watch, not the first time.
Become clear. And I believe more than politicizing the issue, we have to agree that today is a day when all of us should come to a common pedestal. And we should surely fight for justice of this woman. We cannot simply try to politicize the issue. If the health minister is wrong, he should go. If he has earned, he should go. I'm not trying to protect the health minister also.
Removed in the previous
Shambit Patra, nobody is questioning the health minister because he's a BJP health minister. He is being questioned because medical disasters are happening repeatedly under his watch. It has nothing to do with which party. We are questioning you today. Why isn't your health minister stepping down on moral grounds? And we are not asking you this because he's a BJP health minister. We are asking you because of all these incidents that have happened under his watch. You're talking about investigation. You're telling us to wait. 1 second. You're telling us to wait for the report. Next time another disaster happens under his watch, are you going to then give us the report that is going to tell us the details of this disaster?
I agree with the kind of discontent that I'm seeing amongst the people about this whole issue. This whole issue is a very dastardly act as to how the most sacrosanct job of surgery may have been blotched up, and really the people who are responsible for it are the people who should be severely and in the most strictest manner punished.
Correct.
Some action has been taken.
Why has the Chief Minister tried to play down the entire issue? Why is he batting for the Health Minister? Why is the Health Minister saying it's not such a big deal? Why isn't there a judicial inquiry into what has happened, because there is loss of lives?
Even the responsibility may go to the Health Minister, but then this has to be established by the investigating committee going from Delhi. So let the investigating committee say that the vicarious responsibility should lie with the Health Minister, would lie with the Health Minister, then no one is going to protect him. We are going to come to television and say that, well, yes, he should go.
No, here's the truth. Here's the truth.
The main point is that
we're going to wind up. We're going to wind up on this note, Dr. Patra. When you talk about that, there will be nobody will be spared and everybody will be docked. The Additional Secretary Health has now been moved to Food and Khadya Sansadhan. That is that, and he's got an additional charge. And there's just been a swap. He's just been transferred. There has been no suspension. There has been no action taken against the Additional Secretary. So now who's doing the cover-up job? Medicines are being burnt. We catch it on camera. You say, oh, it's just a small lot. Now, what about the Additional Secretary? What has happened to him? If there was action to be taken, transfer is not the answer. Today he's goofed up on health. Tomorrow he will go and goof up on food and agriculture. That's what Chhattisgarh has to bear with. Why? Because of proximity to certain people in the people in power.
Have already been done. So immediately after the report is submitted, due action would be taken, and no one is going to come in the way of the law.
No. This action is a farce, right? Isn't this action a farce? Isn't what's happened with the Additional Secretary Health? Isn't that a farce?
Ghastly incidents. This is another eyewash which the state government is administrating.
Shambit Patra, the bottom line is lip service is not going to pacify anyone. Lip service is not going to pacify anyone. Lives are being lost.
If anyone has
lives are being lost and no one is taking moral responsibility for it. We are going to go to Dr. Bagai for closing comments on this. Dr. Bagai, you wanted to make a point. Shobha Oza, please allow the doctor to make his point.
Would all this happen?
Dr. Bagai.
I would just make two comments as an ending statement as far as I'm concerned. One is Medical Council of India, which is the highest body amongst the medical professionals, can take suo motu action and initiate an independent inquiry.
So they haven't woken up yet?
I think whenever in a large... Sorry?
They haven't woken up yet. It happened on Saturday. We are sitting on Wednesday. There's been no word from the MCI yet. Yeah, your next point.
This is just my personal comment. I'm not in Medical Council of India, but this
I
is
agree,
my
sir. But I'm
comment.
just highlighting that they've been quiet.
And the second point I would like to make is, whenever in a very large country like India, when we do mass screening camps or mass treatment protocols in terms of either cataract surgeries or tubectomies or male or female sterilizations, as the case may be, I think documentation and adherence of protocols, and even if I say this 10 times over, it will fall short, because no medical professional should cut corners in terms of doing procedures. There are guidelines. We have have to adhere to it. There is no way that we should differ or deviate from it, because we are dealing with human lives. I think the most important thing is, as a doctor, you have to be sensitive to the pain, you have to be empathetic and compassionate towards another human being.
Yes.
And to lose a human life in a simple daycare procedure, sometimes in today's world, just becomes non-acceptable.
True.
That's right.
And Dr. Patra, when you say you agree with Dr. Bagai, I also agree that when it is a state government program, the onus is on the state government that nobody cuts corners, because it's happening right under their nose, under their watch. So if something goes wrong, both have to be held responsible. Thank you for joining us on the debate tonight.
No, definitely at the end of the day, the answer has to come from the from the health minister.
Yes.
And I believe once the investigations are complete, the health minister will have to face the public and will have to
We'll
answer
continue to ask the questions. Let's see if we get the right answer, sir. We've got to wind up. We've got to wind up.
Well, thank you for joining us, Dr. Patra, and a big thank you to all our other guests on the panel tonight.